First up, we have a video from Francis Chan and Gavin Ortland to kind of break down a story from Francis Chan about how he preached at a Catholic service. So let's jump into that, and then we'll get into the discussion.
How do I put this? So I was against every charismatic, every Roman Catholic, and then I was asked to speak like spontaneously. There, I was at this event, and there were like Roman Catholic gatherings, like charismatic Catholics that are gathering, and the leader comes and like, hey, I know it's last minute. We're about to have a session. Would you just come in and preach the gospel to our people? I'm like, what? And I've never been asked, he's like, look, we love how you share the gospel. And there are a lot of people in the Roman Catholic Church who've never really heard the gospel. Would you come in and preach the gospel the way you always preach the gospel? I was super confused. I was scared to do it because I was like, this is going to get filmed. I'm going to get destroyed, But then what do I do? They're asking me to preach the gospel.
Yeah.
And then they're saying, and then he makes a comment, look, we actually rejoice when people leave the Roman Catholic Church because they went to an evangelical church and they heard the gospel and understood it and embraced it. I'm like, wait, what? This is super confusing. I said, okay, I'll come preach the gospel. And just walk down and the guy introduces me and says, hey, my wife believes that Francis Chan is the greatest Catholic preacher on earth. Now I'm super confused. And he says his care for the poor, his reverence for God, the things we value, and his understanding of the gospel. And so I go up to speak, and he goes, first, before you speak, would you sit here? And they take my shoes off, and these priests come up and start washing my feet and praying for me. I am so confused. And then I get up and just like, look, I don't know what you guys believe, but here's what I believe. And they're amening,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is one of the most confusing experiences of my life. But that's what got me studying and pursuing and talking to Roman Catholic friends and everything else. And so, again, that was a situation where the gospel in that room, you know how sometimes, whether it's a Baptist context or I may have been in it feels like every single context. There are times when you just can look in people's eyes and you go, wow, they really get it. And then other times you're like, wow, I need to preach the gospel to these people. I don't think they get it. And sometimes you miss it and you go, I should have just focused on the gospel because now I'm concerned that those guys didn't really get it. And I went off on a different topic. But that room felt very much like, wow, you love the gospel. You get the gospel. And then as I talked to some of the individuals, it was like, wow, I can't deny that you really love the gospel.
Yeah.
And again, so then I'd ask them, well, how do you interpret this? How do you interpret this? And like, well, I don't see it that way. And that's where I'm like, gosh, I still don't know completely how to operate in today's world and with the theologies that people have.
Right.
But I'm trying to operate in humility, and I'm trying to educate myself more again.
Okay, so the thing that I thought of just there with Chan was, I wonder how many people listen to Francis Chan's sermon and are so touched by it and edified by it and have no idea they disagree theologically with him. And I'm like, I never knew like Francis wasn't charismatic. And I've always really enjoyed his sermons, and it's about the fear of the Lord and how he goes like this and he talks about eternity, and I just wonder like how much, I know we talk about theological topics on here and they're important, and what we believe about doctrinal issues are important, but I just wonder how much of that is almost a kind of illusion in some sense, that someone like Chan or someone else that we just like, wow, this really encouraged me, just cuts right through, and we completely forget like, oh, you don't believe this particular thing, So.
Yeah. I think, so we'll just give the 30,000 foot view of what the main point of today is going to be. We're just going to lead with it.
Yeah.
Every box, every ism, every category, every label that you want to label someone with, even the labels that you appreciate, where I would label myself as a charismatic, even the labels that you like, those labels are full of people. Systems are full of people. Organizations are full of people. Labels and groups are full of people. And I think in our fast-paced, go world where information is being thrown at you constantly, labels are super helpful. Oh, you are woke. Oh, you are MAGA. Oh, you are a Calvinist. Oh, you are charismatic. And then just like, I put you in my box where I know what to do with you, and I can form an opinion and move on. But all those boxes, all those isms are full of people. And the people inside of those boxes may surprise you with what they really think and what they really believe and how they really act.
That's something we were talking about right before we started, was like just this revelation I've been having lately, which is what can happen when you just love the person that God loves, right? Yeah. And which is everyone, but even people that you don't quite understand or you don't agree with, there's something about choosing to be unified with them in some way and go out of your way. Like, let them inconvenience your life to some degree for the sake of being faithful to God, being faithful to
faithful to that relationship,
to the law of love, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well said.
There's something about that gives the sovereign hand of God space to operate in us and through us and with us.
Yeah.
And we, when we were talking about this topic, and obviously we had watched Francis Chan, we have another clip from them in a second here, talk about this idea of church unity, how if we have such a fundamental difference in doctrine when it comes to Catholic or Orthodox, and they have qualms with what we believe, or a hyper-charismatic person with a staunch cessationist, how do we put that in context? Like, how do we actually walk through loving those people and being unified? What does unity actually mean? Because this is something that way back in the day, I used to hear the term church unity, and I thought it was silly. I'm like, oh,
kind of made me throw up in my mouth a little bit.
Yeah, like, why does that even matter? I didn't quite understand it, but I think as time has gone on and I see the threat of enemies abroad, let me just say it that way.
Enemies within.
Yeah, rise. I go, oh, we're split up and divided. We're not going to stand a chance. There's more at stake here than we think, so.
So, all right, let's start here. What do you think is the cause of denominational divide? And I'm asking for
That's a big question.
denominational divide deeper than, I go to this church and you go to that church. I think the superficial things like the way we worship and how you want to dress and the preaching style, but I mean the
Are we
deeper
talking within
things.
Protestantism?
No, I'm talking
Everything.
generally. Yeah,
Okay.
generally. And so I'm talking deeper, though, than the superficial things like, well, I want hymns and you want contemporary, so that's why we go to different churches.
Carpet color or whatever.
But I mean, like this, if we're talking about unity, like what is the impediment to being truly unified?
Yeah. Okay. It's such a big topic to unravel in the sense that it starts, I believe, with the human condition. So it's one of those things to grasp, you return to Genesis, but then you have to ask the question, is this even a solvable problem? Or is it worth pursuing a solution to?
So here's what I would say. The reason why I want to skip over the superficial stuff is because I actually believe that is not worth solving.
Right.
If you want contemporary worship and I want hymns, if you want, and the Lord said, if you want that kind of preaching, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like if you want John Wesley, like, open your books to Genesis chapter 3. If that's what you want, that's fine. Like that superficial stuff does not bother me at all. Like actually, I don't care about solving them. To go to different churches. That's fine. That's not a big deal. But can those churches like each other, love each other, appreciate each other? That is the divide.
Right.
That I'm asking, like, why does it exist? Because I don't think that is acceptable.
Like, where is the line in which unity starts and stops? And we'll zoom out to Catholicism, Orthodox, but if we're talking just Protestantism, we
Sure,
can
let's
talk
start
about, there. Let's talk about, different eschatological beliefs. I think pretty much unanimously, people would not say that's a big...
I don't want to go over like all the ways that people disagree.
Yeah.
I want to get to like what in people's hearts makes them unable to, because again, it's like worship styles, fine. I'm at the point where I'm like, baptism, fine, baptize your baby. Like it's not that big of a deal to me. Go to a different church. Like you can go to a different church where you want to baptize your baby, but like...
Bro, that one though... Like, because even in me, I start to growl at you for saying that.
Okay.
Because I like, it's like, no, that's an essential doctrine.
Okay.
In my mind, I go, but then we read something like the Didache, and it seemed to have some exceptions.
So but here's what I'm saying. Even if you go, hey, that's an essential doctrine, it is so important to me that I would not go to the same church as somebody who did that. But could you like that church, love that church, appreciate that church, welcome them,
share the gospel with unbelievers with them?
Yeah, or like, hey man, I'll see you in heaven. Like I won't see you on Sunday, but I'll see you in heaven. Like and that's not a problem for you, obviously. Like you're nodding your head, like of course, like yeah.
As a Protestant, no. To the Orthodox, yes, that's a problem.
Sure, that's why we're not getting there yet.
Yeah.
But I am talking about like, what is the thing in people's hearts that makes them say like, no, I can't love you, like you, appreciate you?
I guess where we would have to break down and discover is it would have to be an order of priorities, right? Because that's the whole orientation of theology, right? Is like, does church unity and loving my brother trump infant baptism theological position?
Because it does seem like,
or whatever issue you're talking about.
The nature of Jesus, the nature of God the Father, what the atonement, I mean, actually, the difference between the Mormon doctrine and the Christian doctrine is so wide that it almost touches everything that they're different. But you would say like, it's different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas we would say like, what's the daylight that we're going to accept for unity? But even then, I'm going to just...
Yeah.
For example, Francis Chan, the part that we didn't show, is he goes, in seminary, I was taught blank, 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 blank about charismatics. They're all stupid. And they're all crazy. And they're all kooky. Because Bible verse, Bible verse, Bible verse, Bible verse. And Roman Catholics are wrong because Bible verse, Bible verse, Bible verse, Bible verse.
But he never went and understood why the Catholic or the charismatic believed what they believed. It
So
was
he
just
told
the
that
argument
whole
against it.
He told that whole story about the Roman Catholic, and he told that whole story about the part that we didn't show is that he told a story about having a charismatic friend, and he finally like met with a charismatic, had a Bible study with a charismatic, and realized, oh, this guy's not an idiot. Like, he is not kooky. If he came to these different conclusions than me, he didn't come to them because he was indoctrinated or lied to or because he's kooky. He came to them out of his own good sense and his own earnest study of the scripture.
Right.
So my take, at least one take, and I wonder if you would have any other ideas, is one of the reasons why disunity is so prevalent is because Christianity, we have made Christianity doctrine focused and not practical focused. That Christianity is something you believe and not something that you live.
Believe intellectually.
Jesus said, you will know them by their fruits. You will know them by how they live, by what they do.
And they will know you by the way you love one another.
Yes, both doing things, verbs.
Right.
The way you love and the way you live. Not you will know them by what they believe.
Yeah.
I remember hearing a preacher say, you open up a book on the cults, and it's, this cult believes blank, 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 blank. The Bible says blank, 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 blank. That's how you know they're a cult. Next page. This cult believes blank, 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 blank. He goes, but you should be able to spot a cult member on contact. From their spirit, from their fruit.
Like there's something fundamentally different.
Yes, because Christianity is something that you live, and it like bears the fruit of love in you.
That's must be why Francis goes, you just meet. It doesn't matter what the context is. You meet that person.
Yeah, there you go.
You know they get it.
Yep.
You know they're born again.
That was exactly how he described it.
Yeah.
You look in their eyes and you can tell they get the gospel, or you look in their eyes and you can tell that they do not get the gospel.
Right. Which, what he's indicating there is a character. It's a character trait in the person where it goes.
Yes.
You can tell they have love.
Yes.
And they have care, and they're not just, because one of the fundamental differences between someone who is not regenerate or regenerated is they can only think about themselves. And their self is of their utmost concern. But whenever
ultimately,
exactly. When Jesus changes your heart, your ordering of priorities change.
Mm-hmm.
And you at least get closer to the bottom. I don't know if you get fully to the bottom or that's the sanctification process, but you definitely place, I mean, you have like we say fundamental doctrine. A teaching of Jesus is count others as more significant than yourself. You know, like that's what a Christian does. That's who a Christian is a person who counts others as more significant than themselves. And I think about like a theological concept, which Francis Chan talked about a lot. He has this famous sermon that I think a few other people have done. Maybe he borrowed it from someone, I don't know. But I know it from him, is he has this long rope on stage, and he has this little like piece of red tape, and he goes, this is your life, and this is eternity. And whenever I conceptually, and I think when we set our eyes on the age to come, that the fact that there's an eternity, it sets our life now in context and helps us walk with Jesus, be led by the Spirit, and adjust our behavior accordingly, or our behavior in context of judgment, the fear of the Lord. And so something that we have thought experiments about a lot is like heaven or eternity or the age to come is a place where everyone has everybody else's best interest in mind. and you don't have to ever worry about yourself because everybody's got you covered and you got everybody else covered.
Yeah.
And that is the, I think, intention that God had for this earth and has for when he returns.
What's interesting about that is, on this question of unity, thinking about heaven has had that effect on me, where I go, how I treat you on earth, right? Am I so convinced that you're not going to make it into heaven, you know? If you do, or if we become neighbors, like our two mansions become neighbors, and I go, hey, neighbor, like the way that I treated you on earth, and now we got to live next to each other.
Yeah.
Like, am I going to have to swallow my pride and apologize for what I did on earth? And so that thing of unity, of graciousness, of forgiveness, like forgiving people. If I don't forgive you and then somehow we get to the pearly gates and you go in before me, am I going to have to, this is awkward.
Yeah.
I didn't really want you to be here, but now I guess you are. You know what I mean? So on this question of unity, imagining my life in heaven and having to get along with that person, if we're both going to be here, if Jesus is going to let us both in, am I really going to be the one who's so turned my nose up at heaven itself because I don't think that you belong here, because of your view on infant baptism, or because of your view on the communion, or because of your view on eschatology? Well, we'll all know the answer by then.
If you've liked this episode so far, please give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, please subscribe. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. It's been a long road. We are a part of a ministry called Divine Creative Ministries, and you can go to our website, divinecreative.org. It's in the description below, and you will be able to apply or donate to our show or any of the other ministries that we're involved with.